You couldn't have met an unluckier guy, he says, smiling, blood dripping from his forehead, a broken tooth clearly visible in his stalwart but damaged grin. Exhausted and near the end of consciousness, he disappears. Earlier, it seems more simple. A tiny efficiency apartment converted into an office, twin bed on rusty suspect metal frame situated in the kitchen. It may not have been ideal, but it was functional. Something comforting in the idea of waking up with the first sight being the old coffee pot. Once pristine white and virginal plastic, now melted, brown and gray from years of use. Waking up right between the counter, with the coffee pot and the refrigerator close enough to reach both. Again, not exactly ideal, by any stretch of the imagination. It's not like I was living the high life. No cable TV, no cable internet, no deluxe apartment in the sky. Just the filthiest shitbox that would accept my application. And that was saying something. I lost count of how many places I just walked out of. How many rent dues left unpaid. When you're an organism backed into a corner for survival, you'd be surprised how flexible your morals become. Or maybe you wouldn't be. This quickly becomes common in modern life. Suffering under the thumb of some jackass underpaying you, while the world overcharges you for each vacuous suck of polluted air. Everyone pretending it's worth the inflated price we pay for it. Contented smiles on their convoluted faces. It's a joke, but the punchline never comes. Problems used to have solutions, like in grade school mathematics. Now it's all gone abstract. A system that could give two fucks whether you live or die, spending your developmental capital and youth learning propaganda that won't help you survive even 1 year of financial drought. And welcome to the century of ass-kissing. If you expected you'd be a rock star, a Hollywood actor, a fucking bigwig, well, guess again. Your life is relegated to one of two possible futures. You're kissing the ass of the guy you maybe could have been a century ago, or you're selling that asshole vinyl siding for his fourth house. Welcome to a future where you never had a chance. You may be thinking that you just had bad luck, but I hate to tell you, the game was rigged from the start. So if there's nowhere to go from here, what the fuck do you do? Well, you had this asinine idea to be the answer for all the other desperate fucks pondering that same question, while you're sitting here making an omelet with 3-day past the expiration date eggs. Your brilliant idea was that rather than just be that desperate fuck, part of the teeming, suffering masses eating glass underfoot of the privileged, you would be the savior to those drooling bastards. The savior to the people paying you in lotto scratchers and food stamps, offering you their children to track down a meaningful job, or a contract to kill one of these smug motherfuckers. That's what the world's become now. The 1% that controlled over 60% of the wealth in the entire United States back in 2010, now they control 90%. Either you're working to track down and kill some rich asshole's prom night letdown, or you're digging in their trash, hoping they throw out something worthwhile tonight. It just sort of fell into my lap. My mother once said, God doesn't close a door without opening a window. I hardly think this is what she had in mind. The rent is always due, and after a while you just give up on being worried about it. What used to be a constant anxiety now seems like a quaint relic. It's remarkable how little things like that fall away. The things that don't matter when your hunger and health are relentlessly nagging you, one on each shoulder, two devils, no angels here. The city is a fucking mess. This is what all those sci-fi writers blathered on about years ago. All their stark depictions of a meaningless dystopian future. Something that looks as if it got carpet bombed and the poor and fucked over moved in long after it was abandoned. All the buildings being marked condemned, but it all seeming like such a wasteland they never even gave a shit to tear it down. Entire city blocks like this, teeming with the downtrodden, the ruined, our worthless lives. The financially insolvent, the expendable, like miles of red shirts on Star Trek. Well, that's what you get for being born from a poor family, you silly bastard. You get to spend your time, cradle to grave, thinking you must be some kind of shite person simply on the merit of how the world treats you, never having even common kindness or decency bestowed upon you, save for the occasional coin they don't toss, they throw disgustedly at your face, or at your feet if you're lucky. The thing about having a community full of desperate souls is that they will do anything. Anything to survive. Anything for a chance to get out. Anything for a decent fix. A way to stave off the crushing self-loathing and manic depression that a lifetime of desperation squeezed into only a few years that breeds like a fucking pestilence. So now and then, a car will drive through our part of town, and hundreds of eyes, like cats visible only by their eyes in the moonlight, spring forward curiously, wondering if they can get something. To eat, to drink, to spend, to inject, to sniff. I knew better by now. After seeing dead bodies turn up all the time, I always figured it was strictly the way things were here. Violence is part of nature. When an organism is stressed beyond its limit, when you put an animal in a corner, it becomes feral. But patterns seem to emerge. Crisp shoe and boot prints in the mud around the bodies. A matchbook from someplace I'd never heard of. Marks like imprints from rings on some of the bodies. I figured it out. Some of those maniacs, some of those rich, entitled, yuppie fucking bastards were coming into town and making sport of a few needy folks. Just beating them to death. It's not like anyone here could do a damn thing about it. A group of rag-cloaked, half-starved people aren't going to see much sense in trying to attack someone armed with a gun. It's not like they can go to the cops. Police stopped coming out to our neighborhood a long time ago. And my mouth fills with bile every time I think about it. I have to spit and breathe deep the overflowing sewer of this place just to get a better taste in my mouth. Treating us like goddamn cattle. Hunting us for sport. What the fuck did any of these people do to deserve this kind of life? What did any of those rich little cocks do to deserve to wield such supreme power over life, and death itself.